Okay, guys, I have got Kerise on today, and we have just sussed out, we're very proud of ourselves because we've just sussed out how to do this remotely. So Kerise is not sat in front of me in my living room. Kerise, did you say you're in Devizes?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So you're all the way in Devizes, so we haven't met, but we've managed to figure out finally how to set this up. So we are doing this online today, so it's our first time. So Kerise and I have never met in the flesh, but we have followed each other. And Kerise got in touch to say that she would really, really like to come and speak on the podcast, and she's done one previously. But yeah, she would like to tell us a little bit about what she does. So it's the page that I follow of yours, Kerise, is Inclusion Support Hub. I've got that right, haven't I?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I haven't had much time to delve into it, but I do follow you and you follow me. So I think it's a really good opportunity for us to get to know each other a bit more, and just to kind of tell the listeners about yourself and whatever you're happy to talk about, and wherever you want to start, really.
Yeah, and I was just about to say I have no idea where to even start or where to begin, to be honest. So it's going to be a bit of I guess, a long one. But I can tell you a bit about my personal sort of life. I'm currently a home educating mum. I have been for the past 2.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And over that time period, I've just sort of been trying to find out what I'm supposed to be doing with myself, employment wise. I mean, I've had really sort of bad experiences within employment. And I think the reason why is because I was late diagnosed autism and ADHD at a very late age. I know that other people have been even later than that, but it's like finding out without even realizing that I was even autistic or had ADHD at the time. It was quite a shocking sort of experience, because you'd think, having a son who was also diagnosed quite early, he was diagnosed autism at 4 years old. You'd think sort of, I can see those traits, but actually it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It was quite the opposite. I didn't even think that I was autistic at all. I was quite a heavily masker. I mean, I'd even sometimes mask now, sometimes. Just not as bad as I did 6 years ago when I got diagnosed, but it sort of stemmed from me, I guess, from not even being able to speak out, advocate for myself, to now sort of advocating for not only myself but other people as well in the mix. So I sort of went on to do content creating, and I started to, I guess it was more raising awareness around autism and ADHD, like sort of the mixture of the combinations, as in the sort of comparing them and seeing how much that they can, I guess, have a battle with each other, really, because one sometimes wants routine, the other one wants adventure, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I went on to be just creating those on my own personal Instagram mainly, and there was a lot of reels that I created on there. Most of them are like sort of meme videos, really, just to make people laugh. And it's just at the time it was more for myself as well, just because I just want to just sort of laugh about it rather than just cry, and like see just how much. I guess there was finding out there was absolutely nothing wrong with me, really.
Yeah.
That everything, when I got diagnosed, it all made sense. The reasons why I had so much trouble in employment, even sort of trying to build my own business before I was like diagnosed at the time, I was just in the complete wrong areas. I just kept going from one job to the next, and then just like realizing sort of around relationships as well. Everything just made sense to why I was how I was, but it was really validating at the time as well.
Yeah.
So in the end, because I went through so much with the employment sort of side, and didn't feel as if I didn't feel quite visible, really. I felt as if none of my skills were recognised, and I felt as if like I just wasn't capable of doing anything, really.
Oh.
But I decided to go and create what is called now Inclusion Support Hub, it's meant to be for helping a lot of people like myself to feel more seen, visible, and just get them out there really to connect into the right people. I mean, there's two different audiences that I help. I help the ones, there's business owners, mainly around coaches, mentors, advocates, send education services and wellbeing services. It's more focused on those because I noticed that's where the gaps are.
Yeah.
And it's getting them to just get a bit more visible out there, because I've just noticed that sometimes social media alone or even word of mouth is just not enough. And you have to know someone to know someone, as in you need sort of, the friends who's going to know sort of everyone and spread the word.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just not going to really happen, is it?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So, so sort of in the end, I created that. I mean, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, how did you afford that then?" And it's sort of, I had to explain. I had to just be honest and say that at the time it's just luck really. I got compensated from the DWP because I'd been on benefits for ages, and if they didn't actually compensate that, I don't think I would have been able to do what I wanted to do without getting myself into debt. So I took that opportunity. I mean, they just told me I'll just do sort of, do what you want with it. You can either keep it in your savings or do because it's just compensation.
Right.
So I decided to use that opportunity so that I can not only just help myself, but also help other people out there who have been struggling to with their businesses, just to get visible and be able to connect to the right people in the right places, rather than it sort of just being, just getting random people, not having the correct audience or anything like that. And then you sort of, I mean, I'm not sure about you, but the algorithm on Facebook and Instagram is just absolutely a nightmare at the moment.
I know. I was talking to someone about this, another guy I've connected with, Will, because he does some work, mental health work with men. I was talking to him the other day, and he's given me a few tips. But I said to him, like, going back to 2014, I think it would have been, starting out, I was a social media manager for 3 companies. They were all interlinked, and I could just put stuff out there, and it would just go, it would be seen, and it was easy. But then like you say, trying to manipulate that algorithm now and not having that sort of skill set and having to do all these things, it's a lot of hard work. And I sort of think, do I even want to, manipulate it in that way? I wish it would just be the right things would be seen, but I know that's not, that's not the case, So,
I mean, it's been quite difficult, even with Facebook groups, I've noticed. I mean, I only just learned it yesterday when I was speaking with someone else who's got a lot more experience than me, that she was saying that you can't usually share your group within other people's groups. They like as if you can't share the links. Apparently, when you put the links within comments, that doesn't help with your reach either anymore. I didn't actually know this myself, but I was apparently if you are if you've got your account on in professional, like sort of professional side, then you can put the links to your Facebook groups within a section in called communities. So, and that's how, like, if you want to let people know, that you've got a Facebook group that you think that would help them, then you can just ask them, it's just go onto your profile and then go to the sections and communities, and it will be shown there instead.
Okay. Gosh, yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? If you don't know, then you're just doing things the way you think that it's going to be put out there and reach. So, gosh,
there's a lot of stuff I've been learning. So I've noticed. I think I'm starting to realize what they're doing, and it can be an advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage to many people. Because there's I don't know if you've noticed this as well on Facebook. They've got like these sections where it's got hobbies, games, program, like your favorite movies, all of those. If you was to fill all of those in, then it comes up with people who you've got the things in common with, and it comes up that way as if they're trying to sort of match you with what you've got in common, really.
Yeah.
So I can see where they're going with that, but it's still a disadvantage. It can be a disadvantage to, especially if you don't really know how to do, like, get on with it, really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it is really, really difficult, and that's why one of the reasons I want to do the podcast is because I can put bits and pieces on my Facebook about other people, but I just wanted to do a bit more of a deep dive, really, and just get to know people. So I thought this is just another way to really, really chat to people and find out a bit more, because that's the face behind a product or a service, or whatever people are doing. And it's just a really, really good time to get to know people properly, and that's what people buy into, is the person before they buy into anything else. So that's why I'm doing this. It's just really nice for me to meet other people, and like-minded people, and hear their stories. I think that's really important.
Yeah, and I think as I was saying to you earlier, I think there needs to be a lot more podcasters out there like that, who want to get to know the person, and I guess not sort of add on question after question. Because I was actually a bit worried, thinking, oh, are you going to have a ton of questions to ask
No,
me and everything? And
no.
that is the part that really puts me off, and that's why I've not sort of gone into too many, I guess, podcasts in the future just yet, just because a lot of them who I did speak to, they wanted sort of me to be answering questions, and I knew I wouldn't have been able to answer them at the time, because
No.
that's just how my brain works. So if they was to give me questions there and then, I'm just going to go completely blank,
Well, you're being put on
not
the
even know
spot.
what to say.
Yeah, you're being put on the spot. And I guess because of the job I do, I'm a drawing and talking practitioner. So I work with children, and I hold the space, and they draw and they talk. So it's like I'm sort of applying the same sort of logic to it, really. I'm just letting people talk and say what they want to say, because yeah, it might come out, like you said, I don't know where to start, but that's fine too, because that would happen in a normal conversation. If you were sat with a friend, you talk about something, you go off on a tangent about something else. It doesn't need to be a straight linear line of like, I was born and then ended up here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
take it where it needs to go, because as you're talking, like, things come up, and that's fine, and that's real, isn't it? And that's just a natural flow of a conversation. So for me, that's how I prefer it to be done. And I said to someone, look, I'm sat here with a phone. I don't have podcasting equipment. I've got, a silly picture of me as an AI with a podcasting equipment. That's just me poking fun at myself, because I don't have that, and I don't edit it unless somebody wants something taken out, and then we just publish it. It's just raw, and it is as it is.
Yeah. I think that's quite helpful, to be honest.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it should really be like that. I mean, I know some people do prefer the other way, when they sort of have the questions asked for them and all this. But I personally just can't
No.
deal with that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've met so many other people like that, but it's still, I guess, hard to believe at the same time, because I always kept thinking that there was something wrong with me.
No.
But it's really hard to sort of unlearn those things when you've sort of spent so many years believing that there is actually something wrong with you.
Yeah.
As in, like, because I mean, I'm only starting to learn about it. Apparently, it's because if, like, when you're asked a question and it's not in your mind at that time, it's sort of, I guess, I personally call it that it's sort of stacked somewhere in a shelf where you
Yeah.
can't get to right now. It's
Yeah.
sort of at the back of the shelves right now, not at the front.
Yeah, and then you feel under pressure. Then you've got to sift through to find it. So
Yeah, I
no.
just picture like little me's just going like, where is it? Where is it? Sort of.
Yeah, no, honestly, you just talk away, and whatever comes up comes up. So I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy to listen. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, did you say 6 years ago was when you were diagnosed?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Actually, no, it's been 7 years now.
7 years.
Yeah, because we've gone into a new year, haven't we?
Yeah, it's quite common actually. I work with quite a few people where the child is diagnosed first, and the parents don't have that idea, but any idea that they are, because if you're so busy focusing on your child and you don't look at yourself objectively like that and take a step back, because you're just you, aren't you? So I can
Yeah.
understand why why people wouldn't recognize it in themselves, but you could maybe see it in your child, and you're advocating for your child, and your child, you prioritize your child, don't you? So I can totally understand why it would come the other way around. So, I think it's amazing what you're doing, and helping support and advocate for other people and turning it into a positive, because like you say, you've had to get your head around it, and then re-look back at everything you've done, like you were talking about your jobs and not being able to maybe stick at things, and thinking that was, things that you were doing wrong, which it wasn't. It was just, it's trying to understand yourself and build your self-esteem up, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm still learning now after all these years, but it's like when I look back from, like, say it was like from 7 years ago up until now, I can see that I've really and truly evolved, as in I've really improved. I mean, I've gone through so much, but at the same time, it was quite worth it as well, because I've just get to know myself more.
Yeah.
Even like put boundaries in for myself, know my own triggers, adapt for myself, and then sort of be able to share that experience with other people as well, because then it would inspire them to be able to think, oh, that's actually a good idea. I might be able to think about something for myself that would help me personally, sort of thing. Because what I don't want to do is like say to people, oh, this will work, that will work for you, sort of thing, because there's no one size fits all.
No.
Everyone's different. Even like I've been learning that even people like who's got the ADHD, who's autistic, they are all different and they're all quite unique in their own way. And I've just started to learn. I mean, with me and my son, and even my husband got diagnosed as well. He's autistic as well.
Oh,
so it's
wow.
just all three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're all different. Each and every one of us are all different. We all show differently. Like, I mean, my husband's a heavy masker as well. You wouldn't even notice he is, unless you sort of, I guess, maybe spend a week with him or something.
Yeah.
But then you've got my son, who's also like sort of, you can see it more in him compared to myself. So it's just like whenever we go out and then we meet people, and then like we let them know, we're autistic and everything, or if they need to sort of know why we're sort of acting a bit differently to them, then they're like, oh really, I didn't even notice, sort of.
Yeah, and that's interesting as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they were like, oh, I thought we all do that, sort of thing, and I'm like, do we?
Yeah. And how does your son feel about it with his diagnosis?
When I let him know, I know he's still he's still learning, to be honest. But I mean, he's only just got diagnosed with dyslexia as well, so he's sort of learning about that too.
Yeah.
But he just, I don't know, he just seems to still be himself. He doesn't seem bothered about it. But to be honest, he was never masking like us, so I think and that's quite a good thing, because I was like always worried, thinking, oh, that he's going to sort of follow what we've been doing, but he's actually quite the opposite. And I think that with him doing that, it's also, I guess, inspiring us to sort of unmask ourselves as well, learn to unmask as well, and not be worried about what other people are thinking.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's really, really good. I was talking to my brother at the weekend, and he was telling me he works with somebody that's autistic, and he's been really, really, open and honest about that in the workplace. And he was just saying about how his bosses and things are very, very inclusive, and they're fantastic with him. So when he maybe responds to something differently in terms of how they might respond, they're brilliant with him. And I think that's so great that they're so accepting, and then they take that step back and understand maybe why he's communicating the way he is. Maybe they're coming at it from a different way to what they would, whether that be verbally or sending an email, or and they're just like, yeah, that's who he is. We understand, So I think that's great, and I can just imagine how hard that must be if you are in the workplace and that is happening for you, but you don't have a diagnosis. So it was quite interesting having that conversation with him as well, what that would be like, and hopefully, for your son when he goes into the workplace, whatever he decides to do, is that more and more employers are becoming more inclusive and understanding of that, and of how we all communicate differently.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and
Mm.
I think that's absolutely amazing to hear that your brother's had that good experience,
Yeah,
because that's exactly what I want to see sort of happening everywhere.
yeah,
And I mean, I know where we are, it's a bit, I guess, a bit outdated. Not as much as it was about, say, 7, 8 years ago, but I know that there could be a lot of improvements where we
yeah,
are.
yeah. No, it is really, really interesting. So you are homeschooling and running the everything you're doing, everything you listed at the start. You are doing an awful lot, aren't you?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And
That's
how do
not
you
really,
find,
I mean, that's only part of it, really. I
really?
keep looking at it and then thinking, wow, how am I doing all of this at the same time? I mean, I've got the sort of the home ed. My son's finally, we've been fighting for, about 2 years now since we've decided to home educate, because it wasn't really our our choice. I mean,
No.
we didn't take that decision lightly. We could just see him really deteriorating in school. So we decided to take him out, because when we first spoke to his head teacher, and asked, oh, can he just do flexi schooling, because I think it would be a lot better for him.
Yeah.
They actually refused and didn't give me a reason. I had to actually look and see if that was even legal.
Mm.
Apparently, they can. Teachers can actually refuse that. And he basically had gave the choice of either he stays in school or he gets home educated. So we chose home education because we just saw over the years, and we would always share our concerns of what was happening, the bullying that was going on, him coming back, just letting loose sort of what he was holding in at the time, because I think that was the only time that I noticed he was masking. He was actually really heavily masking in school,
Yeah.
and then when he sort of came out of it, he seemed to have began unmasking again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of every time he would come back from school, he was a completely different person. I've never seen sort of anything like it. It was, sometimes he would become quite violent, and but then they would always say, "Oh, is something happening at home?" That nothing. Like they were sort of thinking that we were doing something to him.
Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? Would you say
Yeah, and
he?
it just became so frustrating. I had to just keep composing myself, because I
Yeah.
was like, at the time, I was absolutely raging at it
Yeah.
all.
Because you
But,
want support, don't you? And
yeah,
and then they talk about how parents are electing to home educate, and it's like, well, we're not electing. We don't really have a choice, because, like you say, you try to go to a part-time timetable and ask for support, and if it's a flat no, then you don't have the choice. So when we're saying we're electively home educating, it's changing the wording around that, the language around that, because that's not always the case, and clearly isn't.
yeah.
You're trying to get him some support there. So would you say he was at burnout, or do you feel like you took him out of school before we got to that point?
I think he was within burnout, to be honest. I mean,
Mm.
sometimes we would have to let him have days off, but then ended up having to sort of just say to the school that he's ill that day. And the only time he would have been able to take more than a day off is if we just said, "Oh, it was sickness and diarrhea." I know we shouldn't have done that, but
But
they
you
didn't
felt you
seem
had
to
to.
understand
Yeah.
that
Mm.
his behaviour was deteriorating. They didn't even believe of what he was doing at home.
Oh, God.
They just thought that we were provoking him or something.
Mm.
And that was just what frustrated me the most,
Yeah.
because I guess they couldn't see what we were seeing, and the only thing we could have done was record him. But then at the same time, I was thinking, if we was to record him, he might start getting, like, it might provoke him more
Yeah.
if he just saw us recording him.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, even the family member, she sort of raised her concerns as well and said that, that she's witnessed it as well. And so it wasn't just me or my husband who
Mm.
witnessed it. There was other people in the family,
Yeah.
but they just didn't seem to believe us. So we sort of, in the end, we just ended up home educating, because they just weren't listening
Mm.
at all. And And it's only taken until it was a couple of weeks ago, after we've been sort of fighting for his EHCP, to just be up to date, because it was out of date by 7 years.
Oh God.
Yeah, 7 years. And I didn't even realise, because what was happening was they were, even though they were doing the annual reviews, they weren't updating what should have been updated on system. So it was mostly sections B and F. I don't know if you know much about the EHCP, but yeah,
Yeah.
those sort of sections is more of what, like, the child's needs and everything, what needs to be put in place. Those sections weren't being up to date. They were leaving the old information on there, but then adding in new ones, and apparently that's not how they're supposed to do it. But of course, I mean, parents aren't going to know that unless they, I guess, research how an EHCP is, like how it works when it comes to the local authorities sort of updating everything.
Yeah. That's the thing. And if
But
you put your faith in, if you had your trust and
yeah,
faith in them, then you would just assume that everything
yeah,
was happening as it should be. So I
yeah,
understand that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's
exactly,
really
yeah.
difficult. And how long do you feel like it took him to come out of like burnout stage and just be, happy and content at home? And did you see a change quite quickly with him?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to take a lot longer. I was sort of just I was assuming a good few months, but I think within the first month he did sort of calm down. I mean, I know that we had to sort of transition him in so that he knew, it's going to be a big change because he's going to be at home mostly. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think we were quite lucky because he had a lot of clubs to go to, like with a smaller amount of children in there.
Yeah.
Because we noticed he did cope a lot better in like groups of where it was just like 4 to 5 children.
Yeah.
But where he was in school, there was about 15 of them, and I think that's the reason why he just wasn't coping. I mean, he's only just told me recently that it was just it was the noise levels, too many children being there, it was too crowded, and he just wasn't coping. But he wasn't able to express that back then, a
No.
couple of years ago. So I think that's quite a good improvement as well. I mean, we tried to take him to a club last week just to see how he would get on, but they mentioned that there would only be about 8 children there, and it even said it online where we would book. When we got there, there must have been at least 15 to 20 children there,
Oh,
and he
God.
just completely shut down the moment he got there. And I said, this is not going to work. He's not going to cope with this. And it was in a sports hall, which we wasn't aware of. We was told that it's going to be in a different room, just like a classroom.
Yeah.
So I'd had to sort of, I guess, advocate for him and just explain that this is not what we were told. We also was told that he could go into a quiet room, and that didn't happen. So that was quite a bad experience for us. But also, I got to speak to the manager, who just so happens to work for the council as well, and he said that he would actually like our a lot of parents' views like us, so that they can sort of shape how it goes moving forward. Because he actually said he didn't personally want this venue either, but they didn't have a choice at the time, and they really want to change that for the future. So I'm sort of in the middle of waiting for more contact on that sort of area.
Yeah.
So I know that they are looking for parents like us, but he said he would keep in touch for that. And I'm hoping things can, I guess, improve in that area moving forwards.
And
But
that's
yeah,
fair, because that's all you kind of want from people, is just to hold their hands up and go, yep, do you know what, you're right, this isn't working, we shouldn't have done this, help us make these changes. And then you can respect that, can't you? As opposed to someone just being on the defensive, which is quite a common thing. So I think if we can just educate that, like, just hold your hands up, let's work together. Nobody wants to work against you, we want to work with you. And let's see what we can do. So that, that works with lots of different people, doesn't it? And that's what you're looking for. So yeah, so that's good. Did he feel any kind of, I know maybe not, you don't maybe know the answer to this, but thinking about it, do you feel like he felt rejected from school? in any shape or form, or do you think he was very, very relieved to be let out of there?
I think he was quite relieved. I mean, I actually said, "Oh, do you ever want to go back?" Because we have been asking him, "Do you want to go back to school or not?" I don't know if it's because of his bad experience he had at that school, or if it's something else. But he's saying he's really happy and he doesn't want to ever go back to school.
Fair enough. And
But
that's good
to
to
be
know.
honest, I just said, well, you got your wish anyway because you won't be going back because he's just been offered an EOTUS package, the education other than a school, because
Yeah.
they consulted a lot of schools because that was part of our tribunal process that we were doing as like when he was sort of trying to have his EHCP up to date.
Yeah.
And they consulted several schools, and they all said no. And they've now offered an EOTUS package, and it's actually, I was quite shocked at that because when I was looking at the word, and they're actually going by, I guess, what we're already doing,
Yeah.
and working on his life skills and like just putting, I guess, I know that they mentioned about that he would be having one-to-one by a specialist teacher, but also to get him into the small groups that we mentioned, around like sort of 4 to 5 children, just so that he's able to build his confidence in that area as well.
Yeah.
So I just thought, oh my God, that's absolute relief. 2 years I've been waiting for this. And
yeah. And then
so,
suddenly you get that
yeah,
shift. It's lovely, isn't
it was exhausting.
Yeah, I can imagine. Going back to what you're saying about all these things you're doing as well. And then you say like you can't believe it, but I think when you do find your niche and you do find what you're passionate about and you love, then it doesn't feel so much like work because you're doing, you're thriving and you're loving your job. Like I certainly feel like it took me a while to find where I belonged. I always put my whole heart into everything I did, but it's not until I sort of hit my 40s that I've really found my way. And obviously I do work hard. I know that, but it doesn't always feel like a job. Not always, because I love it. I don't know what your stance is on that, really.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how I feel about this. I mean, I was always told like before I even left school that you should know what you want to do by that time. Sort of like then, they always say, "Oh, what do you want to do when you grow up?" And I'm like, "Well, how am I supposed to know? I'm only 12." And I remember being asked that, and I was like, "What's a 12-year-old going to know at that age?"
It's funny,
It
isn't
would end
it?
up changing or something.
That's a lot of weight to put on children, isn't it?
Yeah, I still don't understand why they asked that. I mean, my son has changed what he wants to be so many times. I'm just like, okay, all right then. And then I'm like, just wait until you get older and then see how you feel. Sort of thing.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, I don't know if your son ever watched Peppa Pig, but Miss Rabbit, she had about 20 jobs, and I feel like they're all ones my daughters have named over the years. I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a hairdresser, and they, none of them. They're all just such extremes, and it's just so funny,
Yeah.
and I love it. I think you should embrace that, definitely. Like, yeah, most people fall into jobs as well initially. I think you just kind of apply for stuff and you find your way. Like, not everybody knows what they're going to do, or they might do, or they think they do, and then they do it and they're like, no. So it's just,
yeah, definitely.
But I love having a job that feels rewarding because you're helping and supporting other people. I think that's a really, really great thing to be doing. Obviously, I don't know how old you are. I'm 45, so feeling that I'm
Oh, so
giving
you're
back.
10 years older than me.
What did you say? Sorry.
You're 10 years older than me then.
Really? God.
Yeah, I just turned 35. So
Yeah. So, but yeah, still in that sort of like, I'm going to put you in my bracket now. You said that, even though you're 10 years different. So just getting past your 30s then maybe, and just kind of like, it's nice to know that you're giving back and you're doing something rewarding. And obviously for you, like turning it into a positive, everything you've been through, I think that's really, really inspirational. And I think people will enjoy, listening to this and hearing about what you're doing. So obviously you said that you haven't listed everything. So what else would you like to talk about that you do, that you love?
Oh, Yeah, that's put me on the spot.
Sorry, I said I wouldn't do that, didn't I? So
Yeah,
advocating, supporting businesses,
honestly, I was
people.
just like, oh, sorry, I would say I'm looking back really at everything I have been doing,
Yeah.
and I think it's more of this whole journey I've been on really is more of finding my own identity as well.
Yes.
Because like when I became a mum, even though I mean I was like 23 at the time,
Yeah.
and right after that, it's like before then I can't even remember what I was doing. As in,
Yeah.
I can't remember who I was.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, and I'm like just looking at it and realizing even before then, I didn't really know who I was because I was always masking and just trying to fit in with everyone else and just sort of saying, oh yeah, I like this, I like that. And I'm like, no, I don't really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
it's
that's
like,
chopping and changing and
yeah,
like chameleon, isn't it? Just trying to sort of fit with different
yeah,
people. I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just so that I look, I guess, normal, really. But
Yeah.
then I'm like looking at it now and like, what is normal really? It's not really a normal.
No, because we're all different and we're all unique, aren't we? We're not all the same. So yeah, what is normal and who deems what normal is? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. So no, that's good. I think it's brilliant. I think we all go through like that journey of self-discovery anyway. You know, like when you get to a certain age and become reflective and you look back and like, I'm definitely not the same person I was in my 20s. I'm definitely not the same person I was in my 30s. But I like being the age I am. It doesn't bother me being older, you know. And I laugh. I call myself a bit boring these days. I'm drinking my herbal tea instead of a glass of wine at night. But you know, I that's what I want to do. So I'm not going to do something like sit there and drink wine just because maybe other people are doing that. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I just do me, and I think that's quite empowering and quite refreshing, isn't it? And it's quite exciting. I just think the whole thing. Like some people hate getting older, but I just think you're learning more as you go, aren't you? And it's all lived experiences, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
I quite yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you can say the same, but I like me, and I'm comfortable in my skin, and I like me, and I hope you feel that way as well with everything you've been through.
Oh yes, I can actually agree with that. I like me as well.
Good.
And honestly, I wouldn't have said that about 10 years ago. I
Yeah.
would have said the complete opposite. But everything, sort of, I guess, looking back and going back to everything I've been through,
Mm.
it's really empowering. Really, it was a massive journey, but also it shows sort of how strong I truly am,
Mm.
and just what I'm truly capable of. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't always know what we're capable of until we have to go and put ourselves through something that maybe is horrible at the time, but when you look back, you're like, oh, I know why these things are happening, because it's all about shaping you as a person, isn't it?
Oh yes, yeah.
I feel like in my 20s, I think I was quite a wimp. Like if I was a little bit ill, I'd take the day off work and all this. And now I'm like, I've given birth to 2 children. If I'd given birth to 2 children, I can do anything. You know what I mean? That's empowering as well, isn't it? Becoming a mum.
Oh, I'm the same. Yeah.
You know, if I can do that I can do anything. So I just feel like I think
Yeah.
that's probably when I started to grow up. Not when I got married, but when I had 2 people that I had to be responsible for, and I couldn't,
Mm.
you know, flip from this to that, because it's like, that's it now. You're a parent. You're not taking them back. So this is your job now. So I think that's part of it as well, isn't it? Growing up, becoming a
Yeah.
parent, and putting somebody else first. I think, you know, all of that is part of it as well. So
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think, to be honest, when I'm looking at my son, he's made me learn a lot of things that I wouldn't have known before him.
yeah.
And yeah, wouldn't even think like, a child can teach you so much about the world, I guess, as well.
But that's it. You're seeing it through different eyes, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mm. And what about friends and family? Have they been really, really supportive?
Oh, they have been. Yeah. I
Good.
mean, I know with things that I've done before, they must have known something that I didn't personally, because
Oh,
they was always saying, "Oh, are you sure you want to be doing all of this sort of things?" I mean, I got myself in to like, it was different types of, marketing, I would say. It's digital marketing.
Okay.
And at the time, I thought that's all I could do, really. I didn't think I could build anything myself. So I was always sort of the one, I guess, more following what other people were doing.
Yeah.
And they must have known something before me, then they must have known, oh, this isn't for you, sort of thing. But then I guess they would try and tell it, like, say it to me gently, because they knew I would get really sort of offensive.
Yeah.
Like really defensive. And I guess I was really stubborn as well at the time, because I can be quite stubborn sometimes. But at the same time, I used to just do that because I didn't want to embarrass myself, really.
Yeah.
And now, like, looking back at all of that, it's really just, I just laugh at it now, really.
That's a good thing, isn't it? When you come to that point where you can look back and laugh at some of it, definitely. And
Yeah.
it's like a coping mechanism, isn't it, sometimes? And I'm quite stubborn as well, but I don't see that always as a bad thing. I think that's all right. It's just part of me. We're not perfect. I've got my youngest is stubborn as well, and it's quite funny. So we can clash, we can really go at each other, about things, and someone looking in would be like, oh, that's horrific. But it's like, that's just how we communicate. And then 5 minutes later, we're fine, So
Yeah.
we're very similar. So it's just, we can really go we're just fire, both of us, really. But that's just the way we are, and we know each other. So, but yeah, to someone looking in, they'll be like, what? Wow, you too. And my other daughter's just really quiet because she's just not like that, So it's just, we all communicate differently, don't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that's going on with your inclusion support hub, or anything that you're building on at the moment that you want to talk about today?
Well, funny enough, I actually am building something at this moment.
Okay.
But I'm actually just getting my web developer to do most of it. I mean, I came up with the idea and shaping it all, and he's sort of doing more of the techie side of it for me, because I wouldn't have had a clue how to begin. But I'm sort of building. It's just a mini project at the moment, and it's like a host. I guess it's an event host partnership model that I'm building, where like business owners, the ones that I'm focusing on at the moment, would be able to host an event under Inclusion Support Hub in exchange for, say, a premium membership. And it's sort of to help with both parties to gain more visibility.
Yeah.
And I guess it's more of a collab, really, so that we can sort of help support each other in the process. There's a lot more to it, because I didn't realise just how much in depth that you have to go into with this.
Okay.
Because I mean, I've shared it with a few people already, and they've given me some feedback, and it's helped me have more ideas, and be able to shape it a bit more. Like, I mean, someone I've been speaking to who's actually hosting an online event next Friday. I shared it with her, and she sort of asked a lot of questions around, like, oh, do we have to travel, or like, would we be the ones getting paid, or as in, like, it's all different things. And I've realised, actually, that's actually a good idea. As in, you've gave me really good questions there, because then I can sort of fill that out into the document that I was sharing with them, and then be able to just make sure that all the questions that are asked are already answered on there.
Yeah.
But so it's still in process. I mean, I've managed to answer a lot of questions. It is quite clear and solid at the moment from what I'm looking at. But yeah, it is quite exciting. I've had some positive feedback so far from a few others as well, and I'm hoping it works, and then we can sort of, I guess, make it evolve in future. Because at the moment, I did say to them, it's not more of them getting paid through me. At the moment, it would be that the payments sort of go to the inclusion supporter, but then I invest in it again, so that then I can get to that point where they can get themselves paid when they host an event through our website itself.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I said that it's sort of a learning curve. I mean, I said to them, it's not like I'm making any profit at the moment. from it, because I need to get to that point where I'm really visible, as in like I need to sort of be in the right areas at the right time, I guess, and
Yeah.
just so that they know it's just out there for them. And then at least when it builds up, then it's going to be a good place for people to be able to actually get their events out there, like events that really need to be shown, and where there's a lot of gaps. I mean, there's been so many events out there, and from so many talented, like inclusive business owners, and I just don't understand why it's not out there a bit more. Why it's not shown so much? Because I said that there should be so many people looking at this, but
Yeah.
it's sort of, I guess, I wouldn't say it's going to waste because there's people still seeing it, but I truly believe that they should be recognised by a lot more people.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. That's really good that you're doing that. And obviously, like you say, it's a model that's taking shape, and you're asking for feedback, and you're brainstorming with people and taking that feedback on.
Yeah.
And then obviously launching things when you're happy and ready. And that's the right approach, isn't it? So that sounds really exciting for you. And it'd be good to hear more about that, as and when you go live with it. So that would be really, really good. Definitely. Um, is there anything else that you want to talk about today?
Um, I would say I can't think of anything else at the moment.
No, it's fine. And you're always welcome to come back on again as guest. And because I've got a couple of people that are going to come back on. So one of my friends, Laura, she came on and she does wellbeing wonder tutoring. So it's like meeting wellbeing needs before, you look at any academic tutoring with a child. So she does that, but she mentioned about PDA. So she's done a course in PDA. So she's going to come on and talk about that. And I've got another lady, Danielle, one of my friends, also that's going to come back on. So sometimes we might talk about something and thread off onto it, and then it might be that you go, oh, do you know what, I'll come back on and we'll do a piece on that. So do feel free that go and listen to this back, and if there's anything that you would like to come back on and do, then you'd be more than welcome.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be brilliant. And
Yeah.
I think the one that you mentioned with the PDA, I think I might have to listen to that, because I'm only actually starting to learn more about that, and I really think that my son's showing a lot of those traits.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was a name, like it had a name for it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I actually work with a child with PDA, and I made a mistake recently. I'm not going to go into it, but I made a mistake recently with him, and I feel like I might have lost his trust. So I need to see where we are after the Easter holidays and see if I can build that back up, because I'm
Oh,
learning.
bless.
So it wasn't anything awful, but to him it was quite big, and I know where I went wrong. So I'm, very open to learning from that, and going forward and thinking about how I can make changes, and hopefully he will allow me back in, so it's things like that.
Yeah.
Because to me, it might have been something small, but I know to him it was huge. So when I came home and reflected on that, I knew exactly what had happened and why it had happened. So I think that will be really, really interesting to do an episode on PDA. So yeah, that would be really good for you to listen to that as well once that's up and running. I think that might end up being May now. But it will be, May, June time, it will be in there somewhere. So that will be really good. But there's there's so many things we can all talk about, and it's great. This is something that hopefully we'll just run and run, and we'll just keep building on it and doing different bits. So, obviously I think that I've done some stuff on, emotional based school avoidance, or as we now say, non-attendance.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I'd like to do a bit more around that, building like a presentation and putting that together for schools to support them better, and with some of the language we're using and how we're approaching it. So there's things that I want to do as well. So it's all quite
That actually
exciting.
reminds
And
me of something.
yeah,
I won't
tell
go.
me,
I
tell
won't
me.
go too into it, but yeah, it just reminded me of thinking of talking about the RSD. I don't know if you've sort of
Rejection sensitivity disorder.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. I've been starting to learn about that myself. I mean, I definitely been like I was struggle. Well, I still struggle with it now and then, but I know I was definitely really struggling with it throughout my teens and early sort of adult, like coming into adulthood. But I've started to wondering if like a lot of the like children, Sen's children, they tend to struggle with it as well. I know that my son definitely does. He tends to always, he tries to become like a bit of a, I guess, perfectionist.
Yeah.
And he cannot take any sort of criticism at all. And I try and not to do, like, I have to be quite careful with how I sort of word things. I don't mean to word it. I think it's because I sort of, I guess, took after my mum, who would really like criticize, but then she she didn't realize that it would affect me later on.
No.
So she can recognize that now and realizes actually that wasn't really the right way to sort of speak. But then at the same time, she's realizing now that she's been suffering with it herself. So.
It's all really interesting, and that's what I was going to say to you. I didn't want to go too personal, but it's about looking back at the family, isn't it? Parents, grandparents, and how this all plays into where we are now, and with Eugene's and and then that must be interesting for your mum to have those conversations with you as well, and just being reflective of their own childhoods and maybe things they've gone through. So it's all really, really, to me, really, really interesting.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely.
So maybe we can do an episode on rejection sensitivity disorder. That would be quite an interesting one to do. So, but yeah, we're all learning, aren't we? And we're all open to it. And we don't know it all. Nobody does. But it's just discussing it and just having these conversations, and that's what's positive. So, just bringing awareness and just having positive conversations. That's what I'm enjoying doing. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So as long